In this video, we're going to discuss how to do a quote properly in Point of Rental. You see here that I am in the training database. This bottom right hand corner is clicked. The red backdrop says training. Whatever we do in the system with training database will not affect anything and mess up any of our numbers by any means. So let's take a look at doing a quote. This is for each branch. We'll all be doing this the same way. We'll start with counter system. And we're going to do a new contract. It's always good, even if somebody calls in and wants to reserve equipment right away, to start as a quote. All quotes are saved as a PDF, so you have the original quote in the system. So if a project manager at the end of the year would like to get what the original quote was versus what they paid for the entire year, those numbers should match up pretty well. In this case, we're going to start with just doing a quote on the left-hand side. The first thing asked is a valid through date. This actually is going to be our start date when we want this project to start. And we'll say this customer called in and said they want it November 14th. So that's going to be our start date. It's always going to default to 9 a.m. We don't operate in hourly. So we say 9 a.m. Quote date, put in the date. I'll just say today is 7/7/22. And a fuel type. It's either going to be natural gas, NG, liquid propane, LP, however you want to have it. I'll just leave this as LP. If you don't know yet, don't put anything into the fuel type. All right, now it's going to add in some tracking data for our drive time labors and our on-site labors. This should be the same date we chose for the start date. So we said November 14th, 9 a.m. Again, November 14th, 9 a.m. All right. It tries to go and add equipment right away, but we're going to start with actually the customer and the customer information. So we've got our labor tracking on top here. Where it says select customer in red on top, I'm going to double click on that. And we're going to put in the customer that's going to do the quote. In this case, I just typed in Frana. It'll give you a list of Franas. We have one. We say this is the one. All right, we're going to add in a job site information so we can put everything that we're doing towards a specific location. So we start with functions, edit job site information. If it's already on the list, as we've done something with them before, you can go choose this, and this will be a new one. So we're going to add a job site. Bottom right hand corner, we're going to go add. Description is going to be the actual project name, so we're just going to call this fake apartments, and we're going to copy it and we're going to paste it into another area. If you have a PO number, which in this case you probably won't, this earlier job number, you can put those in, but those are really the three boxes we do under the contract tab: is the name, PO, job site. Under the address, we're going to paste our name here, fake apartments, under company name, and we're going to put in an address and a zip code so the system can calculate tax properly. And then this is going to be the superintendent. If the superintendent's in here, we can go ahead and add the superintendent information, pick it from the list, Brad Larson. There's Brad's information, and say OK. That's all we have to do to create a project. All right, we go and we're going to OK through here. It's going to come up with any notes that populate, if their balance is overdue or not, and then finally goes into the quote. Everything you do to add equipment into a quote will start with this add item down here in the bottom right hand corner. So I'm going to go ahead and add an item. And in this case, I'm going to add, with usually my quotes, I like to add a note on the top that stands out. So I'll type in note, and we have a note for a rental note, which goes on top, or a sales note that falls under the sales items. In this case, we'll just use this top note, which is a rental note. And we don't need any information put into it except for what we want the note to say. And I'm just going to say this is going to be the first floor. Actually, we'll call this the garage. Okay, so we've got a garage in there now, and in the garage they're going to take a couple heaters. What they wanted were some Rexotherm heaters. So what I can do is I can go into the categories and I could find my heaters that say Rexotherm heater. Okay, there it is. Here's all the ones that are serialized. I want to remove the serialized items checkbox here. We've got the rentals clicked. We've got everything clicked. These are our headers. So we've got the ROT 1500, 2500, 250, 3500, etc., etc. So they're going to put a couple 1 million BTU heaters in their garage. So I'll choose the ROT 1500. Okay, this is going to be for a season. And so I'm going to click on this 90-day season here. They want 2 of them, so I'll change quantity to 2. And then it comes up with do they want fresh air duct? Do they want hose with it? It's defaulted to take one 100 footer and one 50 footer per heater. If that's the case for quoting measures, you can go ahead and leave that. I do need to have fresh air duct, so I'm going to click so they have all 3 of these added into it. I say OK to all the suggested items. And so then right now it goes back and we've got a heater, we've got a couple hoses, and we've got a piece of duct. I'm going to add some heaters on the first floor. So add item, take note again, but this time I have to get rid of the Rexotherm because it's going to search under Rexotherms, go back to all categories. There's my note. Season, one note, pass through here. I'm going to have this say first floor. Okay, so we have another second note now. And on the first floor, they're going to take, let's just say they're going to take 3 LB White 350s. So I can go back and click LB White under category, or if I know the number, LB 350, I go ahead and put that in there. Here we go, LB 350. It's already same as 90D again for the season. I'll say okay, same for that. They're going to take 3 of these suggested items. In this case, you've got duct and hose again, one piece of 100 foot, 1 foot piece of 50 foot. And then you've got fresh air duct. And then you have duct if they want to go on the discharge. In this case, they're just going to put it in the hallways. So we'll get some fresh air duct, but we do not need any medium temperature duct for the discharge. So I'll say okay to that. All right. Any other items, you can just click on items here, add them in as you go, whatever you need. This will be enough for this um, quote. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring these labor items, I'm going to put them on the bottom of the screen. Um, so they're not on the top. So I clicked on the number 1 here, and there's a little down arrow. Gave me a little error there. I'm going to move this down to the bottom, and then grab the next labor and move that to the bottom. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to have our return date. So up on this top line, it's very important to have your return date on this top line. It's like essential to have that. So this is for a season, so we're going to say they can have this until May 31st of 2023. Time does not matter. Do you want to update the price? In this case, there is no price update. Okay. And then if we click on the next one, same thing. May 31st. Say okay. Update the price, no. Okay. And you do this for all of the May 31st items that you have on here. Now, if you had a rental item on top and you change this top to 531, it would ask you if you want to have them all be 531. And you could say yes, which is better than clicking on 8 of these items to have them change. Okay, and you continue on down that list. So in the upper right-hand corner now we have a date, our delivery date of 11/14, but now we have to put our delivery items into this quote. So this is how you do it for every branch. We go down here and we click on delivery. Okay, it's going to say on 11/14, we have one other delivery that's going to go out. That should be plenty for our team to do on that day, so we're wide open. On the pickup, we don't really know when the pickup's going to happen. They call in, so we say no pickup here, the bottom right-hand corner. We're going to select our job site, which we put into that, and that was our fake apartments. Okay, there it goes, does that information. Any delivery instructions will usually be once we become a reservation. It may, be there at 10 a.m., talk to Greg, he's in charge on this day, whatever we need to have into the instructions for our service team to get the job done right. We put that information into that area. And then we're going to choose the different deliveries that we have. Okay, so all of our deliveries, we've got the top one, which is within 50 miles. So from our office within 50 miles, it's $200. That includes one pickup. This next one is from our business to 150 miles. Third one is 300 miles. So these are what we have for our deliveries. The setups, the pickups, everything else is extra, but this is a delivery in one pickup. This is within 50 miles, so I'll click this second line. Okay, it says $200. I say, all right. Do I want to change the name of that? I do not. And then we're going to pick the same date of November 14th. 9 o'clock is fine. Because this is a setup, there is a $50 miscellaneous fitting charge. So we say okay to that. We don't need to change that name. And then we have to figure in our labor. So this is also going to be November 14th, 9 o'clock. And we put it at $0. We'll show you why. We're not going to change that around. Right here under the labor, the second line from the bottom, it says we've got our project setup here is $75 an hour. So it goes at $0 to start off with. If it takes 3 hours to set the project up, we'll put in 3 hours here and they'll be charged 3 hours times $75. So that's there. Project teardown, same thing. If it takes 3 hours to tear down the project, at that point they'll be charged 3 times 75. And if they need more pickups than just the one, they want to have heaters taken off 2 at a time, there's a $150 charge. So this is telling the customer that you're going to have some charges, additional charges on this quote throughout the project, and we're going to calculate by hour. Our hourly rate is very inexpensive at $75 or $85, depending on your market, and that's all listed for them to see. At this point, we are done with the contract, so we're going to go to the bottom right-hand corner and say OK. And then we have to pick, is it going to be this upcoming winter seasonal or daily? We said it was seasonal, so 2023 seasonal. And then it's going to say who is the project manager, which is ordered by is the project, and we'll say this is BJ Mariotti. Say OK there as well. And if we view this on the screen, we will see everything we just did. All right, this is a training mode, so it's not as nice as what you'd see on the real deal, but here's the office contact of BJ, and here's the salesperson. Here's that email. Here's the superintendent. The delivery is on 11/14. Here's the address. It's LP. Here's the quote date. In the garage, we're putting 2 1 million BTU heaters and some hose and duct. On the first floor, putting 350,000 BTU heaters with some hose and duct. And then you have the information down below about the delivery. If the customer has to have a estimate on what a charge would be, we could fill in what these charges are for the project setup and teardown as an estimate. We really don't like to do that, so that we're covered on the hours that we're putting into connecting our equipment. This is done. I can go ahead and print it. I can email this. I can do whatever I wish with that quote. But these are the ways that we are going to be doing the quote with CHI companies for all of our branches. Any questions, contact your division manager. Thank you very much.